starts. Field in line, they're off immediately. Fair start, Mac and Rome gets a good one. Rushes up now to challenge for that lead. Bold Shadow pulling alongside. Roccola racing out widest of them all. Solace is the one racing down against the rail in between horses in the red cap. That's Design Diva. A D-Bay Machine races toward the back of the field. And last of all, it's a Solar Black as they make their way now running toward the 7 and the far back stretch. A Mac and Rome out in front leading up by a length. Design Diva racing in second. Solace is there. Roccola on the outside. Bold Shadow racing just in behind that group as they run toward the 6. Solar Black has made some ground, and at the back of the field, hidden from view at the moment, that's a D-Bay Machine. They've left the 6, and out in front, Mac and Rome dictates the fractions, leading by a length and a nose-tickling tail. Design Diva racing in second. Solace on the rail now, pumped up and asked to go and making ground. They lead the 5. Bold Shadow on the outside of an improving a D-Bay Machine. Roccola races second from the back, and Solar Black is last of all. The quarter in 28-2, the half mile in 53-2 as they leave the half mile and go rushing up now toward the 7/16th. Mac and Rome attempting to go all the way. Tries to slip away from. They lead him up by some 3 lengths. Solace now going in chase with Design Diva. Bold Shadow asked to pick up on the outside. D-Bay Machine is only 5 lengths off that lead. Roccola, the favourite, has lots to find from there, and forget Solar Black coming to a halt as they make their way toward the top of the lane. Can they catch this? Mac and Rome determined to go all the way. Solace, the closest pursuer. Roccola now asked to go and begins to make mild progress, but Mac and Rome runs toward the final furlong with a good-looking lead. On the rail, that's Solace. Roccola still trying to cut into it, but Mac and Rome is brave up front, approaching the final 16th. It's Mac and Rome and Radesh Roman, the rest all in hot pursuit. Mac and Rome chased by Roccola on the rail. That's Solace, but Mac and Rome beats Roccola and Solace. Then Design Diva, Bold Shadow. This is the 30th running of the Sir Howard Stakes, and they're off. Fair start. World Surprise took off quickly with Jay Spieth. Hidden from view at the moment, Teflon Don also wanting that lead, and Teflon Don emerges with a very narrow advantage as they leave the 5. Jay Spieth and World Surprise in behind. Toward the outside, King's Crown, Allegiance tucked in against the rail, and Playfair, possibly 6 lengths off the lead, trails the field as they leave the half mile and run the bend. Teflon Don attempting to escape pursuit, goes on by a length and a half. World Surprise pushed down into second. Jay Spieth right there in third, cutting the corner on the rail as they leave the 3rd pole. King's Crown needs to find 4 or more. Playfair now wound up on the outside, and Allegiance also needs to find possibly 5 as they come thundering into the top of the lane in the 30th running of the Sir Howard Stakes. And up front, Jay Spieth has now come through to snatch that lead. World Surprise, a danger on the outside. Teflon Don has faded back toward the center of horses, and Allegiance has to run on the rail, but it is Jay Spieth inside the final furlong. Here is Allegiance now wound up with a kick down against the fence. It is Jay Spieth driven to the max. Allegiance now bubbling to the boil on the rail, and Allegiance is traveling strong, and Allegiance will win the 30th running of the Sir Howard Stakes. Jay Spieth is second. World Surprise is third, close between Playfair and Teflon Don. Zulu Warrior. Shelley the Rocket misses it. Shelley the Rocket worst off and left at the back early as they lead the 6. Princess Fiani just the leader from Mac and Rome. There goes Ballistic Missile now to form the threesome on the inside. Zulu Warrior 2 lengths in behind them. Hickory Slim races up next. Supremacy as they leave the 5 races with the Soul Warrior and a long way last and needing to catch up. That's a Shelley the Rocket. They're about to arrive at the half mile and go running into that turn. Ballistic Missile with that lead. Mac and Rome is a length down. Princess Fiani tracks them on the rail and begins to go as they head away now toward the final 3. Zulu Warrior is next. Supremacy now shaken up and begins to lengthen strides as they leave the 3. Hickory Slim in behind, then the Soul Warrior, and a long, long way last to Shelley the Rocket, never recovering from the awful beginning. The field will come thundering into the stretch drive. They're at it now inside the last quarter. Mac and Rome points on that lead. Princess Fiani on the rail. Watch Supremacy now closing in on the outside. These 3 almost in line as they drive toward the furlong pole. Supremacy on the outside. Mac and Rome in between horses, and Princess Fiani on the rail. And now Supremacy under the left-hand stick picks up the lead. It is Supremacy inside the final 16th. Princess Fiani trying to fight back. Also coming on Zulu Warrior, but Supremacy will take it by a length and a half over Zulu Warrior. Then Princess Fiani, Mac and Rome, and Hickory Slim.
They're off and racing. Very clean start. Chesney breaks smartly on the inside. J Speed hustled up and rushing on the outside. Right there too, that is Supremacy. Unruly Don cuts the corner and saves ground. Hustled back into fourth rather. That's Chesney. Then comes Lady Lauren. Buttercup overtaking Captain Sparrow and Brenda Boy racing at the back of the field. Make their way out of the clubhouse turn and go towards the backstretch, and it is Supremacy on that lead. They've got 6 furlongs to cover. Supremacy narrowly in front of J Speed, settled in second, watching them from third. That is Unruly Dawn. 5 lengths away before we come to Chesney. Another 5 before we come to Lady Lauren, Buttercup. Then come the trailing pair of Brenda Boy and Captain Sparrow. They head toward the 5, and it is Supremacy on that lead. A length and a tail in front of J Speed, tracking intently in second. 3 lengths away before we come to Unruly Dawn racing in a third. Right there in fourth, that's Chesney. Another 3 before we come to Lady Lauren. Brenda Boy recovering, going down beside Buttercup, and is still racing at the back of the field. That Captain Sparrow. They leave the 4 and head toward the 3, and it is Supremacy stretching them out now. About a length and now 2 lengths in front. A wall of horses coming forward. Also Lady Lauren and Brenda Boy. It is still making the running. Supremacy coming at the top of the lane. Supremacy with that lead. Coming on to that's Lady Lauren. It is Supremacy in front. Captain Sparrow looks to be trying to come through on the inside, but here comes on the outside now. That is Captain Sparrow, and Captain Sparrow now hits the front. Supremacy is trying to fight back, leaving the furlong pole. It's Captain Sparrow in the midst of Lover beginning to skip away from Supremacy, trying hard. It's Captain Sparrow and Action Pack Ren Lewis. He'll have a third on the card. Captain Sparrow winning by about 4. Supremacy, good try in second. Then comes Lady Lauren and Brenda Boy in fourth.
They're off. Banadura from the wide draw gets away quickly. Run Julie Run, as expected, goes sprinting after her as they charge down the back stretch and head toward the 7 furlong point. Amma is racing just in between horses. Fast and Furious Links picking up on the rail as they charge toward the final 6. So Banadura sets the splits by a length and a half. Run Julie Run settle back neatly in second. Fast and Furious Links edging closer. Crypto Girl on the outside. Buttercup is racing down near the rail. Midnight Flight out wide. Shiny Star toward the center. Amma races down against the rail as they head passing the 5. Come Home to Me races up next. Battle Angel races toward the back of the field at this stage, along with Blue Sensation. They share last. A half a mile to run. The tempo will increase in the 1,000 guineas, and out in front remains a Banadura striding out powerfully. Run Julie Run now right in the slipstream. Midnight Flight is next, about 5 off that lead. Fast and Furious Links and Crypto Girl come next as they leave the 3. Buttercup has a mountain to climb along with Come Home to Me and the rest. Shiny Star in behind. Blue Sensation asked to pick up on the rail. Then comes Battle Angel, and at the back of the field it's Amma as they come thundering into the top of the lane in the 50th running of the 1,000 guineas, and Run Julie Run now pulls alongside Banadura, and now Run Julie Run, as expected, begins to kick away from them. Come Home to Me is traveling down against the rail. Banadura has cried enough. It's Run Julie Run. She's racing away from them. If a traffic cop was here this afternoon, surely Run Julie Run would pick up a speeding ticket, and it's Run Julie Run that will capture the 1,000 guineas by 5 legs over Come Home to Me. Then Battle Angel, Banadura and Amma. The 4th running of the Kingston. Matuso stepped out a bit slow. Captain Sparrow got a good start. Last year's champion 2-year-old, Interesting Times Ahead, wants that lead as they motor down the back stretch and head toward the 6. Interesting Times Ahead has that lead by a neck. Unruly Dawn moving up to challenge. They float past the 6. A gap of some 4 or 5 lengths to Matuso Racing, just a length and a piece in front of Providence. Allegiance races on the outside of Playfair. Crown Chaser looking for room between horses. Captain Sparrow is next as they've left the 5. And last of all, it's Paperwork. They're on the run down the back stretch. The final part of it. They're about to arrive at the half mile. And Interesting Times Ahead now goes clear and opens up some 3 lengths in a flash. Unruly Dawn, unable to cope, has backed out quickly as the leader, Interesting Times Ahead, continues to stretch the lead. Maybe 6 or 7 lengths now. Unruly Dawn is there. Provident going in chase with Crown Crown Chaser. Paperwork in between horses. Matuso on the rail. Captain Sparrow and Allegiance are next. And at the back, Hopeless at the moment. That's Playfair, but they're into the lane. And they leave the quarter pole behind, and it's interesting times ahead, beginning to open up the gap. Captain Sparrow is showing stamina and running on down against the rail. Toward the outside, that's Crown Chaser. Provident in between horses, but it's interesting times ahead, leaving the furlong pole with a clear lead. Captain Sparrow is asked to fly, but here is interesting times ahead coming away. Captain Sparrow making late progress, but guess what? It's too late. Interesting times ahead wins by maybe 5 over Captain Sparrow. Crown Chaser is third. Provident is fourth. Allegiance is fifth. They're off for the 2,000 guineas. Provident just a shade slowly out along with King Pie. California Crown moves up to set the early fractions as they run toward the 7. Crown Chaser racing out on the outside. Interesting times ahead, getting closer to that leader. King's Crown is right with the first 3 as they make their way down the back stretch. J. Spieth racing in behind King's Crown. A break back to Playfair and Allegiance as they run past the 6. A gap back to Provident and King Pie trailing and Hopeless at the moment as they make their way about to flash past the 5. California Crown out on that lead. Interesting times ahead, throttle back in second, a length and a half. Crown Chaser is right on the outside as they go flashing up now inside the final half mile and run the turn for home. King's Crown making ground with J. Spieth. Allegiance is there. Playfair toward the outside of horses. Asked to make some ground, that's Provident, and King Pie now left out of it as we had a quarter mile in 24.1 and a half mile in 47.2 as they blaze past the half mile and come toward the top of the stretch. It is California Crown stretching that lead. Interesting times ahead now, asked to go get him as they're into the lane. It is California Crown and Robert Hallidine. Interesting times ahead now, trying to reel the leader in, but California Crown is moving quickly as they head toward the final furlong. Interesting times ahead now, beginning to nibble at that lead. California Crown out in front by 2 lengths. Interesting times ahead, trying to catch him. California Crown attempting to go all the way. This is the 50th running of the 2,000 guineas. Robert Hallidine and California Crown upset the favourite. Interesting times ahead. Provident on the outside looks to be third over Allegiance, and Crown Chaser is back in fifth.
They're often racing. Seaplane steps a bit slow and is left at the back of the field as Rocola and a Solo Black chance the course. So it's Solo Black and Rocola. Then comes DB Machine. Brenda Boy hustling up nicely. Sprague is right there too, and the Seaplane just left at the back of the field. They head toward the 6, and it is Rocola settled on that lead. In second, that's a Solo Black. Then comes Sprague right on the inside of Sprague. That's DB Machine. Then comes a Brenda Boy and a Seaplane about 7 or 8 lengths behind as they go past the 5, and it's a compact field as it is on Rocola in front of. Racing in second, that's Solo Black. Going down on the outside ominously, that's Brenda Boy as they pass the 4. Right against the rail, that's DB Machine. Then comes Sprague, and hopelessly out of it at the moment, that's Seaplane. They head toward the 3, and Rocola tackled on the outside by Brenda Boy, passing the 3, and it's Rocola and Brenda Boy. Brenda Boy points from Rocola. Sprague tracks them intently in a third. Then comes Solo Black. Behind Solo Black, that's DB Machine. And you can forget about Seaplane. They're at the top of the lane. Brenda Boy and Rocola, these are the 2 that's fighting for it. Brenda Boy just the leader, but Rocola is still there fighting. Brenda Boy and Rocola. Rocola begins to come forward once again. Brenda Boy fighting hard. They're coming to the furlong pole. Brenda Boy, Rocola, Rocola and Brenda Boy. It's an exciting finish in this one. But Brenda Boy begins to point. Rocola has done nothing wrong, will be second best. Brenda Boy beats Rocola. Then comes Solo Black, DB Machine, Sprague, and Seaplane.
They're off. Coming away quickly was Cleopatra Queen. Riches to Rags right alongside. Train of Thought racing widest of them all. Rocola hugs the rail as they go flashing past the mile. Train of Thought on the outside, Cleopatra Queen in between horses, Rockola the one on the rail now moving second, Cleopatra Queen backing out in third. Riches to Rags is racing in fourth as they go slipping past the 7. A break of 5 to King Pie, Shooting Star right alongside, Brenda Boy's next, then we have Chesney, and at the back of the field it's a Solar Black as they take the backstretch proper and make their way flashing past the 6. Train of Thought leads them by some 3 lengths. Cleopatra Queen on the outside of Rockola, just the next separates those. A length of the piece back to Riches to Rags as they head toward the 5. King Pie is a further 4 lengths back. A break of 3 to Shooting Star, joined by Brenda Boy. They accompany each other on the run to the half mile, and the gap opens up to Chesney, and the Solar Black remains last. They're approaching now the far turn and the half-mile pole. They're beginning to group up on the lead. Train of Thought just the leader. Riches to Rags still on the premises. Rockola is there. Shooting Star is left out of it as they go flashing past the 7/16th, and it is a Train of Thought. Here is King Pie now kicking in on the outside, also beginning to make some steady ground. That appears to be Brenda Boy as they come now thundering up past the 5/16th. King Pie racing down against the rail will come into that lane, harassed all the while by Brenda Boy, who was quickened on the outside. It is King Pie, the rider, having a look over his shoulder. Brenda Boy is the main danger. Riches to Rags has been switched toward the outside, and still King Pie maintains the lead. Brenda Boy maintains pressure, but King Pie continues to hold the advantage by maybe 2 lengths. Flashing past the furlong pole, it is King Pie and Radish Roman. They'll arrive at the final 16th with a 2-length lead. Brenda Boy trying to cut into it but can't. King Pie will win the Jamaica Equine Veterinary Association Trophy. Brenda Boy second. Riches to Rags finishing ahead of Chesney. Shooting Star is back in 5th. They're off. Chief Dissident, Sprague. Those are the slowest to get away with Provident, also indestructible toward the back. As they slip past the 6, Affair has gone into an early lead and opens up some 2 lengths. A chase by Mac and Rome racing in the green. In between runners, as they go down the back stretch, Provident is a prominent. Right on the rail, that's Indestructible. Supremacy now asked to make some ground as they're running away toward the final half of a mile. Affair out in front. Mac and Rome chasing with Indestructible. Rockola now begins a big move on the outside. Provident is 5.5 lengths off that lead. The General and Supremacy race up together. Sprague is further back ahead of only one. That's Chief Dissident as they go dashing past the 3 and make their way toward the 5/16th. It's a 2-horse race at the moment. Affair on the rail. Right alongside that's Mac and Rome and Robert Halladine applying pressure as they come into the lane, and Mac and Rome now points. Affair will try the fight back down against the rail. Indestructible now wound up against the fence. In between runners, that's a Provident task to make ground. Rockola has faded back, but they drive toward the furlong pole, and Mac and Rome in the green silk holds the lead. Here is Provident now, sprouting wings on the outside and asked to close the gap. Affair running down against the rail, but it's Mac and Rome and a Provident, these two going at it. Jose Osorio and Provident now pick up the lead close home and go on to beat Mac and Rome by maybe 2 lengths. Rockola has finished in 3rd. Indestructible 4th. Looks to be Affair finishing in 5th over the General.
They're off and racing. Chief Dissident misses it and is left at the back of the field early. Out wide, that is Crown Chaser with that lead passing the 6 furlong point. Brenda Boy chases in 2nd. Right there too, that's Oil Machine. Behind Oil Machine, the Soul Warrior. Then comes Himaya. Chief Dissident just recovering, passing 1, and Sprague and now sharing the back of the field. That's Sprague and Chief Dissident. They've passed the heading to the 4, and it is Crown Chaser. Half a length in front of racing in 2nd, that's Brenda Boy. Oil Machine watches them from 3rd. The Soul Warrior comes next. Then comes Imaya. Also coming on from behind that is Sprague, and racing at the back of the field, Chief Dissident. They're coming to the 2.5 furlong pole, and it is Crown Chaser on that lead, tracked all the while though by Brenda Boy. Also coming on the rail, that's Oil Machine, but it is Crown Chaser in front and beginning to pull away, about 3 lengths in front, and now beginning to show a bit better, more class than these, as Crown Chaser looks to have this one all sewn up. Crown Chaser sprinting off, coming to the half a furlong pole, and this looks like it's going to turn into double digits. It's about 8 at the moment. Crown Chaser eased in the end by the Sneaky Fox Radish Roman. Crown Chaser on an afternoon stroll, maybe by double digits. It's tight for 2nd though. Looks like Oil Machine just getting there ahead of Brenda Boy and Himaya.
Thank you for watching another video produced by the team from QuickGallopJaya.com and its YouTube channel, The Quick Galloper. Please stay on the channel for other enlightening videos on those involved in local horse racing. Please like, subscribe, and press the notification bell.